Guys, what's up? Welcome to youth. I'm here in the youth room without you guys, but hopefully soon. I'm here with Joey as well. Joey, if you guys don't know, because some of you junior highs might not have met Joey before, Joey is our master's college and seminary intern right now, and he is going to be speaking tonight, so we're pumped for that. But you'll get to know Joey a little bit. You'll get to know more, hopefully, when we're in person, but hope you guys had a great week. We're going to move into a time of worship, and wherever you are, it's a little weird, I know, find a spot alone, and find a spot that you can actually enter into worship and allow God to minister to you as you worship. So we're going to worship now, so let's go.
Let's declare this morning. We're standing on His promise. We can trust in Him. He's our firm foundation. Let's sing. I am standing on every promise that you make. I will see it come to pass in your name, Jesus, I will trust every word I hear you say. I will see to pass in your name, Come on. I am standing on every promise that you make. I will see it come to pass
Well, good evening, Parkview students. I'm so excited to be hanging out with you tonight as we look into our Essentials series. I've been here for a couple weeks now, and I wish I could meet you guys, and I hope in a few weeks that we can hang out here at the church and just have an awesome time. But for now, I'm excited to be joining you online. Well, we're in our third week of the Essentials series, which is crazy to think, and it's been an awesome week for you guys. Some of you have gone back to school, and so yeah, it's just been crazy. But we've been looking at the things that are essential in our life and in our walk with God. That word essential it's everywhere nowadays. I'm sure you've heard that word multiple times today or this week, and it's just crazy. It's everywhere. So what does that word mean? Well, if you look up on Google, the simple definition is absolutely necessary. So when something is essential, it's not just of great importance, it's actually a non-negotiable in our life. It is needed for daily life and for tasks. So in a season where the world is redefined and, told us what is and what is not essential, we want to look at the essentials of our faith. What is essential for us as we walk through day-to-day life and try to be more like Christ? Before I get into this, I have like a little story for you. So you'll get to know me a little bit as we, get to know each other over the next few weeks and during my internship. But one thing about me is I'm super involved internationally in missions, especially in a place called Ukraine. And I was on my second trip. I had lived in Ukraine for about a month at this point, and I actually went to the local McDonald's with my friend. I was living with a guy named Lane. And after this series of wild events, we ended up, meeting some random Ukrainian people and having this great time. It was time for us to go home. And so we had to get on public transportation. And, it's kind of a little bit crazy. You're in like the middle of this country and everyone speaks a different language and you're trying to get home. And we managed to get on this bus. They call it a marshrutka, and all of a sudden we're outside of the city, and we don't know where we are, but we just trust that the driver is taking us where we need to be. And he pulls the bus over. It's a crazy situation. He just pulls the bus over and he starts yelling at us. No one else, and he's pointing us out, and he kicks us off the bus. It's got to be 7 or 8 p.m., like it's getting dark out, and me and my friend look at each other, and we're like, what do we do? And so we get off this bus. We really have nothing on us, just, our clothes, our phones, and a little bit of money, and that's about it. We don't really have anything, and we're in the middle of this town. It's called Kryvyi Rog, in the middle of Ukraine. And we look at each other and we're like, well, what do we do? It's just fields. It's like you were out in the country. And he goes into his backpack, and I hadn't seen this yet, but he has this little GPS. And he had put the coordinates of our home in, and this GPS works, I guess, through satellite or whatever, but he had this GPS. And so all we could do is trust the GPS to get us home. And it took us on this journey, like an hour, 2 hours of us walking through random streets and through beside random houses and apartment buildings. And it got us home. The reason I tell you this story is that GPS was so essential that night. I think back, if my friend didn't have that on him, what would we have done? That GPS was essential, and I often think that without essentials in our life, if we don't set essential things up in our life, it can become so easy to get lost. And, maybe we're not going to get lost in the middle of a different country, but we can get lost on our walk with God. And so this week, as we dive deeper, I want to look at something extremely practical. I want to look at the essentials of good company. And what I mean by that is the essential of surrounding yourself with the right people. I want to look at a story found in Exodus 17. And before we read this, I just want to explain what's going on. The book of Exodus shows the Israelites freed from slavery in Egypt, and it records their journey from Egypt to Mount Sinai under Moses' leadership. You've probably heard of Moses before. And tonight I want to look at Exodus 17, where the Israelites are camped out at a place called Rephidim, and they're attacked by a people called the Amalekites. So Exodus 17, 8-13 says this. The Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, "Choose some of our men and go out to fight the Amalekites. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the staff of God in my hands." So Joshua fought the Amalekites as Moses had ordered, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went to the top of the hill. As long as Moses held up his hands, the Israelites were winning. But whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites were winning. Get this. When Moses' hands grew tired, they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held his hands up, one on one side and one on the other, so that his hands remained steady until sunset. And Joshua overcame the Amalekite army with a sword. I've always thought that this story was just so cool, and there's so many things we could look at, but tonight I want to focus on one thing, and what stands out to me is that in this moment, in this crazy battle, Moses is surrounded by good company. This story tells us that Moses' hands grew tired. And, I don't know if you've ever tried to hold your hands above your head for a long period of time, but they get tired pretty quickly. And Moses was doing this for hours upon hours. So you can imagine his arms would have been sore and weak. He would have wanted to put them down. But as long as he could hold his hands up, the Israelites were winning the battle. But when his hands grew weary and tired and dropped, the enemies prevailed. So get this. When Moses' strength begins to fail, Aaron and Hur provided the necessary support he needed to keep fighting. I mean, the story tells us that they found a rock and placed it under him so he could sit. And then they stood beside him, supporting his arms, keeping his arms lifted up. And as long as the battle went on, Aaron and Hur remained by Moses' side and provided what was necessary so that Joshua and the Israelites could win. Can you imagine this? They're on the top of this hill, this mountain, and for hours they're holding his arms up. Moses was surrounded by the right people. And it was because of this that he was able to succeed in what God had him doing. You see, if it wasn't for Aaron and Hur, I don't know if he could have kept his arms up the entire time. But because he was surrounded by the right people, he was able to move forward even when things got tough. You may not be going into battle like Moses, but who you surround yourself with is still so important and essential on this faith walk. It's essential to surround ourselves with good company, to surround yourself with people who will give you a hand when you need it the most. Who you surround yourself with will have a direct impact on how your faith walk looks and on how you turn out. And this week, as some of you guys go back to school, don't fall into old ways and old patterns. Take this opportunity, as crazy as this time is, take it as an opportunity to surround yourself with the right people and start to essentially set up the right group of people around you. So why is this so important? You might be saying, Joey, why is this essential for my life? Why is this important? I'm just a junior high. I'm just a teenager. Well, I want you to know that even right now in your life, and maybe now more than ever, who you spend your time with heavily impacts and influences your character. The people who you surround yourself with will shape and influence you into the person you are becoming, whether you realize it or not. There's this old quote, and maybe you've heard it said in a movie, or your parents have said it, or your grandparents. And it says this: "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." I remember being a kid and hearing that and thinking, this quote is just, it's annoying, it's not true, it's different for me. I can hang out with them and not become like them, and it's not the truth. Whether we like it or not, this is a reality. And I've seen too many friends fall away from what God has for their life because they surrounded themselves with the wrong people. You see, it's essential that we come alongside the right people for us, for our walk with God. So how will you know who the right people are? There's no formula or perfect list, but tonight I'm going to give you 3 characteristics. And I think that these are pretty good indicators of people who you should surround yourself with. So the first one, they'll be people of good character. These people will be people of integrity, honesty, trustworthiness, respect, and loyalty. And who you spend your time with will heavily influence your character. The people who you surround yourself with are shaping you into who you're becoming. So if you hang out with people who have integrity and who are honest and respectful, you're going to become someone who has good character as well. Number 2, they speak truth even when it's hard. I can remember being in elementary school and high school, and sometimes when you surround yourself with, the wrong crowd, they say things not because they're true, but because it's good for them, or it's good for a joke, or for whatever. But true friends will, have your best intentions at heart, and they will always speak truth into your life, even when it's tough. You need to be surrounded with people who love you and value you enough to speak truth, even when it's tough. And then the third thing, you want to surround yourself with people who are loving. Choose friends who genuinely love God, who love others, and who love you. And this can be, something so easy to neglect or not realize, but it's so easy to choose to surround yourself with people who only associate with the cool crowd or the popular people. But you want to surround yourself with people who love God, who love others, and who love you. People who are nice to everybody, who are kind to everybody. Because when you surround yourself with people like that, you're going to become like that. And that's going to make you more like Jesus. So in summary of those things, surround yourself with people who inspire you to be a better person, who provide you with the motivation to spend more time with God. People who will empower you to make the changes you need to succeed in life on this spiritual journey. So, what am I saying? I'm not saying you have to ditch all of your friends, but I am saying you need to adjust your circle of influence. I'm not saying you need to cut everyone out and, not hang out or talk with them when you're at school. That would just be simply impossible. But you need to ask yourself, who is influencing you? You need to be influenced by the right people and not let bad company interfere with your walk with God. Let me say that again. If you're not careful, bad company will interfere with your walk with God. And this is why the people you surround yourself with are essential. They're essential to your daily life, they're essential to your faith walk, and they're essential to your formation. Because as you become older, you want to become more like Jesus. So I want to challenge you this week. I want you to challenge you to look for people and for opportunities to surround yourself with. Surround yourself with people who stick around when times get tough. Surround yourself with people who make you want to be a better person. And surround yourself with people who remind you of Jesus. Tonight, as we transition into our Zoom call, into a time of games, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself this. And I encourage you to ask yourself this tomorrow on the way to school or sometime this week. Who have I surrounded myself with? And are they the right people? Are they the people that God would want me surrounded with? It's so essential to ask ourselves this question. And this is the perfect opportunity to do that. As you go back into school and back into habits, make good company essential in your life. I promise you this, that you will begin to change for the better, that people around you will notice change simply if you surround yourself with the right people. Well, that's it for tonight. It's been awesome to hang out with you guys and talk to you guys, and I'm going to pass it back over to Pastor Benton.
Hey guys, what a great word by Joey. It was awesome to have him speak tonight. Head over to your Zoom calls. They're on the screen, and you can always connect with Pastor John if you're a junior high, or message me to get the link. The easiest way is just to get the link, click it, hop on Zoom. We're not going to be long on Zoom tonight, but we're going to have some games, some time to reflect and pray together and hang out. So head over to Zoom.